Boker Tov, everybody. So this week's parsha is Emor. It notably contains commandments concerning the celebration of the festivals, of the holidays. But continuing in the fashion of many of the portions within Leviticus, it also includes some laws. And well, you could say that the parts about the holidays are also laws concerning the holidays. But in particular, I want to point out a certain law that involves kashrut. And if you think about it, first of all, kashrut is founded on a principle of separation between two conflicting things, the conflict of life and death, right? Life-giving milk, dairy, separated from the death of the animal, from the meat, right? So, I mean, we acknowledge that life is full of contradictions, but we try to distinguish between those two contradicting things, and to elevate our experience of the world through the food, through having these laws with the food. But one particular law here is that a newborn calf, lamb, or kid must be left with its mother for 7 days before being eligible for an offering. One may not slaughter an animal and its offspring on the same day. I think that's particularly poignant because it's showing us that we do show some level of care for animals, even though we do as a human race, we do consume animals. Overall, we have dominion over them, but we still show a level of respect for them. And here it shows that we are refraining from excessive cruelty when it comes to our treatment of these animals. When an animal has a newborn calf of any kind, you leave them together for 7 days, and if you're slaughtering both of them, you don't do it on the same day. That shows a level of respect, a level of kindness, certainly for these animals. And by refraining from excessive cruelty with regards to animals, I think that shows us another level of how we are to behave in the world. If we're refraining from excessive cruelty with animals, how much the more so for our fellow human beings, right? This encourages us to think about how we treat others in the world. And even in situations in which there is a certain amount of maybe not cruelty, but there are deaths, right? There's war, and we as Jews, we have an obligation to think about how we are treating other people, other animals, how we even in an act of war, to still, for example, not to cut down trees. Like these are things that we think about as Jews because we're held to this high standard. And it's not easy to be held to this higher standard, I will say, but it is also the right thing. We think about what's the right thing. We're concerned with that as Jews and as people in the world. And we're, we read a little bit ago in Kedoshim that we are to model ourselves after God with God's holiness, right? We're commanded to be holy in the world. So this is one of the ways that we can go about doing that. So as we continue in the world and we think about how we can refrain from cruelty, how we can show kindness.
Anybody have other announcements?
Oh, yes.
No, tonight Shabbat Rocks.
Yeah, I'll announce it.
Yeah, okay.
We have our first Shabbat Rocks of the season tonight. 7 p.m. is our time for Shabbat Rocks. If you have any kids that you want to bring, we'll bring them to Shabbat Rocks, but there's a 6:15 family program with an ice cream party for the kids. So if you have kids around that you want to include in that, that's at 6:15. We also have, just want to give a plug for, obviously for our Tikkun Lo Shavuot on June 1st. And I also want to give a plug for our concert that's coming up pretty soon in a few weeks. That's going to be featuring guest artist Alana Arian. And Cantor Kathy Sebo will also be joining us for that concert. That's going to be June 8th at 7 p.m. You can see information about that in our tidings and elsewhere. We'll begin to spread more about it. If you plan to come, please make sure you reserve your tickets, but it is free to attend. Thanks to our sponsors.
Right, thank you.